Bro, speaking along those lines, let's go. I'm going to go down a little tangent here.
Uh-oh.
So I'm not going to make any statement like opinion. I'm not going to pass any opinions, but it's really weird. Okay, I wrote them down. I've been seeing articles like I've never seen before. I've been seeing articles that are saying eating too many eggs is causing blood clots. Climate change is increasing the risk of heart attacks, sudden heart attacks.
Solar flares was
social media.
Solar flares too.
Gas stoves. Sudden adult death syndrome is like this big thing now that people are talking about. That I'm seeing articles come out like crazy. How it's this thing. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Is it just like I've never seen so many strange articles connecting.
I just imagine Googling, and you're trying to kind of figure this out, like why what you're seeing is, and then you're going to stumble upon an article that's telling you like, solar flares happen every so often, and then people get heart conditions as a result.
Well, listen, we need to give people something to attach themselves to and share to their friends when they're defending their reasons for their 5 shots that they've taken now.
That's what it feels like.
Really what it smells like to me is just like, here you go. Here's some articles to help.
It's very
help
deliberate.
defend yourself on why you're going to go get your next booster and why it's smart for you to keep doing that because this is attached to other things.
It's just weird to me because I again, I'm not going to make any statements, but when I see the propaganda machine go in full swing, and literally I've never in my life seen articles that have said anything like this. It's very weird to me. So it's like, why are they saying all this? Is it because they're preparing people for data that's coming out, that's showing?
Of course.
That strokes, blood clots, and heart attacks is exploding?
Okay, so explain how the process...
FDA is investigating right now.
I was going to say, explain the process to me because I'm unfamiliar with this. Like CDC launched an investigation, right?
Yeah.
So what should we look forward to as far as like how long does that take before we start to hear numbers and feedback? Where is it going to be announced? Is it going to make mainstream media? Has it already been announced?
Years.
Like, years?
Yeah, it'll take years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it'll take at least a few years to get all that data. And I told you guys about that.
Between that time, we should be able to get at least 4 or 5 more boosters out, is what Pfizer's thinking, right? Like, we still got 4 or 5 more boosters.
And now we have to change, with athletes and people getting physicals, like to make sure like they account for, any kind of a heart condition.
EKGs.
Yeah.
So schools.
That's protocol now.
Yeah, a lot of schools now are as part of your physical. When you get a physical, I don't know. I've gotten physicals when I was a kid for judo and tournaments, and they don't do an EKG on you. But now lots of schools are requiring EKG as part of their physical because of the risk of sudden, heart failure.
Yeah.
Just on the court.
Just call something else
or whatever.
What was the percentage of it? Because I know the people that defend this or try and argue it is that this has been around for decades and we've known about it. And I can't remember what I read, but the percentage of athletes on average that have gone down for the sudden death, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what the number was for the last, say, decade we've been tracking. And then in the last year or two.
There was like more than in the last year than there were in the previous
time.
Right.
That's what I think that's what I read, right?
Yeah,
so in the last year, all of a sudden we've accumulated more in 1 year's time than we did the previous 10 combined. Yeah. And to me, that's...
Well, and it's hard too because you'll get like countering articles and all this other information trying to dismiss a lot of the numbers and kind of shuffle the numbers around. And so it's like, what are the actual numbers is really hard to get. But, just from examples that you can Google of like all around the world of people where this has happened to, and especially in the athletic community where it happens very infrequently, it's very substantially higher.
So here's and this is going to, for sure, we're going to piss somebody off here. I was talking to my cousin, day before yesterday, and they just had a family friend that was hospitalized with the clot a week later after the vaccine or the booster or whatever. And one of the things that her and I were talking about was like, what's really crazy? She's like, I know nobody that died from COVID or had anything. I know a lot of people that got sick and felt like a bad flu. But she goes, I have nobody connected to me personally that died of COVID. And I said, well, I know one person who was connected to me. She goes, but I got at least 5 people I know that had some severe adverse effects after they got at the vaccine. And I said, I can't deny that either. I said, I have way more people I know that I've heard issues of the side effects from taking it than I knew that actually, and I know somebody who died from COVID.
Look, this is anecdote, okay? It's not evidence. We're not doctors, but I have a cousin, 14 years old, who he lived in Italy, and they really pushed hard over there. Like you got a digital passport. You couldn't work. You couldn't go grocery shopping. And he had to be hospitalized, and he's still getting treated. They can't figure out what's wrong. That was after he got his vaccine. I have another cousin who was breastfeeding. And by the way, you could look this up. This sounds crazy, but you can look it up. And in forums, you'll see women talk about this, that their breast milk changed and turned a blue tinge. Wow. Her breast milk changed, started turning a blue tinge. She stopped breastfeeding her baby. Couldn't figure it out. By the way, I do want to say this. Again, that's all anecdote, but the industry itself is to blame for all of these, for all the people who are like not trusting them because of the way they pushed it, because of the way that they gaslighted people. There were women who were like, this is messing with my period, and they got canceled off social media. Then later on, they're like, oh yeah, it does affect your period. There were people that canceled for certain things. Oh yeah, it does do that. We got that Rasmussen poll that came out, a poll that came out. 7% of people in the poll said that they got side effects that were severe enough for them to go back to the doctor or take work off.
Well, the biggest thing that's the most bullshit about all of this, to me, in my opinion, is that, and we will get this from this conversation, is that, I don't want to hear political talk on that. Like we've attached it. We've attached medicine and
medical procedure to politics and
that we can't have an open discussion about our thoughts around it without us supposedly staking a claim for a political side. Yeah. That's ridiculous to me. We're in the science business. That's what we've been doing. That's part of our field.
You wouldn't need it if it was super
to not be able to communicate that openly with other intelligent friends that I have in the space without it turning into, oh, you're making a political stance. It's fucking crazy to me. No. Why can I not? This has nothing to do with how people vote. I'm so curious about what's going on.
We're concerned with people's health and so on. And to me, it's in that sphere of what we talk about, what we're concerned about. It's always like a consideration is like how we can advocate for ourselves. That's just the natural thing to talk about.
Look, you can go back. We recorded podcasts when this is all going down. And I kept saying, we got to look at the data. I want to look at this. I'm healthy, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a little bit. I was never anti, never pro. I was very much like, let's look and let's see what's going on. Well, with the current accepted data, these are at the very least, nobody can argue this, ineffective. They're terribly ineffective. They don't prevent transmission. They last like 3 months, the preventative, whatever. The side effects are nasty. People feel like shit the day after, and then there's other reports of other stuff. But the accepted data shows that these are ineffective, very risky in terms of side effects, and the most profitable. That's a terrible combination. Yeah. Especially
without scrutiny.
Especially when you have a pharmaceutical company or a company in general, a corporation that got a deal with the U.S. government, guaranteed taxpayer dollars to the tune of billions of dollars. So that's where I'm like, let me just wait and see what's going on. Let me continue looking at the data. And by the way, you tell me almost anything, and I'm going to question it because your incentives are to lie to me. Exactly. There's no incentives for you to tell me the truth unless the truth is in your favor. If the truth isn't in your favor, your incentives are to lie. And do you have a history of lying? Well, the largest lawsuit ever for fraud was towards a pharmaceutical company. Largest ever paid out was that they lied. And that they got to pay out. I think what drug was it? I don't remember what the drug it was.
Well, that's what's crazy.
There's so many examples.
Yeah. And then the government. Do they lie to you? Well, yeah, they lie to you all the time. I mean, they lie to you all the time.
There's so many examples of these pharmaceutical companies getting sued like crazy for adverse effects that they were withholding from public knowledge.
I'm just over the gaslighting about having a conversation around. I think that's ridiculous. Which, by the way, too, Trump was a huge pusher of this thing from the very beginning. So it's not a left or right thing.
No, he still is.
This is not a left or right thing. It's a government and fucking pharma thing. Yeah. And the fact that you can't openly communicate it without being canceled or people fucking getting all defensive like you're trying to make a political stance. Like, this ain't political. It says fucking wake up, open your eyes, dude. Pay attention to the signs. Yeah. And guess what? We said it here and we've been saying it here. Watch what's about to happen to y'all with the obesity thing. That's coming next.
Yeah. Yep.
That is 100% coming next. They're setting the table right now with the bullshit gaslighting around it being a genetics thing. And then the next thing is going to be, they're going to solve your problem.
Yep.
Fuck,